What up, everyone? It's Russ with the Comic Cave Podcast, and we are back with Dragon Ball Super Manga Chapter 89, A Rival Appears. And yeah, we're just going to dive right into it. Let's go. So picking up where we left off, Trunks, aka Saiyaman X1, had ripped the safe open that Dr. Hito had, found the disc, and he's trying to figure out what's on it. And he's looking at it on his computer. He's not able to figure it out, so he figures, hey, let me go open it up on his mom's computer. And we're just getting more of, he's stupid and doesn't know how to use a computer. And I'm not going to dwell on that too much. We're just going to move past it, but I absolutely hate that. He has a reputation even within Z of being at least somewhat educated. He was even explaining stuff to Goten in the Bio Brawly film. And I get it, Bio Brawly 1, bad film, 2, not canon. But we just established that he was smart. Cool, don't dwell on it. Trunks apparently stupid when it comes to technology now. And a virus pops up while he's looking at the blueprints of Cell. The blueprints of Cell are what are on the disc that he had taken from Hito, and Bulma comes in and catches him, and Bra is the one that ends up coming up and fixing the computer, and Bra is like a toddler at this point, so they're just, yeah, Bra is the smart one, Trunks apparently the stupid one. Don't agree with it, whatever. And so Bulma then tells Trunks that he needs to take Mai to school with him because Mai is the same age, or appears to be the same age as Trunks, and that it could be unusual that she's not in school. Interesting. What about Pilaf and Shu? Like, what about them? Are they not looking like they need to go to school too? Whatever. Sets up plot point for Trunks being in love with Mai and that whole thing from future Trunks come back around, which I also don't really like, to be perfectly honest with you. I don't care that Mai is younger now. It's a little bit odd, but Dragon Ball can be goofy in that way. That's fine. I didn't really like the future Trunks arc, and they're just trying to tie stuff back to that, I guess. Whatever, moving on. So Mai is introduced into the class, into Trunks' new class, and of course, her being a new student, her being a girl, some of the other guys try to hit on her, and Trunks is being all protective about it. But then they get a surprise new student as well, and it's Beta, B-A-Y-T-A-H, and obviously that's a play off of Alpha, Beta, so Trunks and Goten already had a run-in with the Alpha androids that Hito had created, and now they have Beta. And so Beta gets introduced into the class as well as kind of like a little surprise, and one of the other girls, Rula, finds him attractive and wants to teach him some lessons, you know what I'm saying, a little thing or two. Catch him up in class as Trunks is catching up Mai. Mai kind of gives an interesting look over at Beta, and Trunks is kind of like suspicious, like, yo, why are you looking over at that dude, right? And so cut to outside where they're at essentially gym class, and Trunks is showing Mai, and he's trying to show off a little bit. And I kind of like this part of the slice of life and high school stuff. I definitely like Trunks is playing basketball, and he's kind of schooling up on him, and they're like, yo, you're on fire today, what's up? And he goes, oh, you know, like, let's just say that I normally take it easy on you guys. And I really dig this because it kind of plays homage to like when Gohan was playing baseball during his arc within Buu Saga. It's definitely like, you know, nice little nods, and it's cool to see not just baseball, because we've seen baseball a number of times. Gohan played baseball, and then in the Super we have that baseball special episode that has become a fan favorite. But it is nice to see some other sports being played. Basketball, you know, it'd be cool to see him play soccer or something like that too. Well, Trunks is whooping up on him, and Beta comes over and actually steals the ball, takes Trunks by surprise. And honestly, I like the choreography here of Beta. So Trunks is mad that Beta got the ball away from him, and Beta's about to go in for a shot, a layup, and Trunks like dashes over there faster than he probably should have with these students. Like they, you know, they notice like, oh, he moved pretty quick. What's up? Like, how did he get over there? But then Beta does kind of like a layup behind Trunks. And yeah, I just really actually dig the choreography on here. I wouldn't mind seeing Toyotaro actually do maybe like a sports manga or something like that. Like, this paneling is pretty cool. And then Beta ends up looking over at Mai, kind of gleaming, and Mai's just definitely noticing something's up with Beta, like right off the rip. And you see Cut back over to like Hito. He has like a camera through Beta's eyes, of course, because he's like, yeah, he's an android. He's able to see what's going on. And they're speculating that Trunks is probably the one that stole the disc, and Hito's on his tails. Remember, Hito, they found the badge from the school in all like the rubble after X1 and X2, Trunks and Goten took off. So they assumed that, yeah, the person who stole the item had to be, or stole the disc, had to be from that school. Now they're suspecting Trunks just based off of like how quickly he moved in the court playing basketball. So now he's instructed Beta to try to like figure out what's up with Trunks and see if he's the guy that they've been looking for that stole the stuff. And Trunks then notices, like, cut back over into class, and Trunks like notices Mai looking over at Beta. He's like, yo, like, you don't have a thing for that guy, do you? He's weird. And Mai's like, no, you haven't noticed something being off with him? And points out, you know, that he doesn't seem normal. And then there's a patch on the back of Beta's neck, and he's like, oh, he's one of those android things. And then Trunks notices that he doesn't have chi, that he doesn't sense any chi coming from him. It's like, but yeah, he's like, oh dang, he's definitely an android. And from that point on, he kind of notices that Beta is trying to catch him and see what's up. And there is kind of a funny scene. Again, this chapter isn't all bad. There's a couple cool things. I like that panel of the layup, but then also Beta tries to get one up on Trunks to see if he is the guy of suspicion, right? That the guy that stole the disc. And he throws a football at him in the hallway, and Trunks senses it. See, cool. Okay, you can sense a football coming your way, but you just couldn't sense the chi at the first. Whatever. Gonna go with it. And Trunks does kind of like, I like this, acts like, oh, I got to tie my shoe. And then he leans, as he goes down, he leans back up after he, quote unquote, ties the shoe and hits the football back towards him and makes a fire extinguisher blow up next to Beta and makes him look kind of stupid. So I do like these little games that they kind of play leading through this. Like Beta keeps trying to catch Trunks in some type of way, being like, oh, like we're gonna figure out if you have some type of ability. First it's with the football, and then again he tries to spill some like hot soup on him in the cafeteria, and Trunks just like moves out of the way and the soup lands in his bowl instead, and he's like, oh, thanks for the extra soup, you know. And so he keeps trying to do little things to catch Trunks. And a lot of that's fun to me because it's honestly, it's kind of like, I might be reaching on this. I definitely might be reaching on this, but it's like references to some of Akira Toriyama's other works. So earlier manga that Akira Toriyama did called Go-Go Akmen, and it's about a demon boy who goes out trying to collect souls. So he's basically killing people to collect souls, and then there's an angel that sees him and is trying to stop him, and every single time that he tries to stop the demon, every single time the angel tries to stop the demon, he ends up killing more people. So like he'll shoot a rocket launcher trying to blow up the demon, but then the demon moves out of the way and it blows up a school bus instead, and then the demon just collects all of the souls from the school bus. Very dark humor. You got to remember, this is like 80s, right? So different time. Akira Toriyama was very a comedic person, but like that kind of slapstick dark version of the Three Stooges type of stuff that plays very well with early Akira Toriyama work. So kind of seeing some of that play out here, it makes me wonder if Akira Toriyama came up with some of this, or if Toyotaro is like channeling his inner Toriyama, so to speak. But I definitely actually kind of dig some of that interaction in here. As Beta is about to ambush Trunks again, and Trunks sees it coming, Goten out of nowhere goes to pick up a baseball, and he picks up a truck in order to grab the baseball, and Beta sees that, and they're like, oh, he must be the guy that's after him. And Trunks is like, dang it, Goten, why did you go and do that? Like, you know better than to just mess up and pick up a truck. And you see Goten in the back, he's like trying to play it off to some girls, you know the truck's not very light, must be one of those like just lighter trucks, I guess, you know, trying to play it off. And Hito says, like, commands Beta at that time. He's like, yo, go after him. And then Beta rips off his clothes, and he has a costume underneath, and he engages with Goten. And so Trunks has to step in his Saiyaman X1 uniform. He was able to, like, okay, while Goten's got the distraction on him, he's able to go change. He steps in, Trunks is Saiya X1, Saiya Man X1 is saying, "Oh, go get the safety student," and like kind of behind his back hands the wristwatch to Goten, so Goten can go change and step in too. And then Trunks and Saiya Man X1 and Beta kind of go back and forth, and they end up fighting into a football field. While all the other students think, oh, well, this must be some kind of play, right? Like it must be some type of act. Some people are just doing some superhero show or whatever. And when Trunks went and changed before he started engaging, he handed off his bag over to Mai, and then he goes and he's like kicking Beta 2's butt, right? So he kicks his butt all the way over into a football field, and then Beta even he brings out like a mecha suit, which apparently is also sentient because he calls it Beta 2. So he's Beta 1, and then Beta 2 is like a battle jacket, what's also an android that he wears, and he starts shooting rockets and stuff over at Trunks, and Trunks is able to deflect them and save everybody. As Trunks is beating the crap out of Beta 1 and now Beta 2 as well, Mai gets knocked over and the disc falls out of the bag, and Hito notices while he's watching everything and tells Beta to go and grab him. So Beta shoots a bunch of flares back at Trunks. Trunks has to deflect all of them, and he grabs Mai and he's about to take off, and then that's supposed to be like a hero sound. I'm sorry, don't make fun of me. Goten, Saiya Man X2 Goten runs in and he takes out the lower half of Beta 2. So Beta 2 split into two parts, and he takes out the lower half, and apparently the lower half is the only sentient part, and Beta 1 is trying to fly off with him. And Trunks is able to do kind of a cool little move. I will give him credit on this. He doesn't do like a ki blast or anything like that. He creates some high pressure and shoots like a little tornado at Beta 1 in the suit, and the mecha suit, knocks the mecha suit off and jumps up and catches Mai. And Mai, as she's being caught by Saiya Man X1, she gets like a flash of future Trunks, and she gets that whole nostalgia feeling all over again of falling in love with future Trunks. And here we go. So they're using that typical Western superhero cliche. Saiya Man X1 and X2 handle the bad guys, and they're saying that they're mopping up evil because that's their heroes, right? You remember there's the Mop Man or whatever. I don't even remember the dude's name, but there's movies made about him, video games made about him, and that's what they're basing their Saiya Man X1 and Saiya Man X2 off of. So they're doing their little sign-off thing. And Maya's like reminiscing, and she's like, I had this feeling, and Trunks comes back around. And this is what I was saying is like, it's that Western typical thing where like Superman, Clark Kent, or Spider-Man, Clark Kent, this is giving me Superman, super Clark Kent vibes of he comes running up. He's like, Trunks comes running up. He's like, oh, there was a superhero. Oh, darn it. Gee golly, like I missed it. And Mai's like, oh, there's something very impressive about Saiya Man X1, as she's like getting those feelings again. And it's just that girl in love with superhero while knowing the superhero's personal identity like the entire time, right? And that happened a lot with Superman and Spider-Man and all that stuff. And at some points within those comics, even like the character ends up fighting himself for the girl. He's like, oh, you're in love with the hero, and I'm going to keep being a hero to make you love me more. But then at the same time, I'm trying to be this good guy and make you love my normal person. It's like, you're just kind of screwing yourself over. But yeah, so that's definitely going on. Trunks is about to out himself to Mai. He's like, hey, the secret identity is, and then Goten cuts him off from doing that, so he doesn't out himself in front of the entire school, and now he has to just deal with it. So you get Mai being in love with the superhero who is Trunks, and yeah, it's just that cliche, which is cool. There's definitely been, a lot of like Marvel references within a lot of Dragon Ball Super within the movies and within the comics and stuff. And Akira Toriyama himself is definitely like a big movie buff, and he's into like Western stuff for sure. He's in a lot of different stuff. He's into Eastern stuff, Western stuff. So yeah, it's just another one of those things. I feel like, they could have done that like a little bit more original, a little better, but a little bit more unique instead of just straight ripping that trope, but like whatever. So cuts back over to Hito, and Beta saying sorry that he wasn't able to take him out, and Hito's just mocking it up even more. So he's like, yeah, we took an L today, we lost. And not just the fact that we weren't able to get the disc back or figure out who it was that officially like stole the disc, even though they might think that it's still Goten's character. No, it was Saiyaman X1. They figured that out. Like when Saiyaman X1 showed up, they're like, no, that's the guy. So 3 times now, which they had it right the first time. They just didn't realize. Yeah, but Hito's like super impressed with Saiyaman X1 and Saiyaman X2's outfit. So he's like, yeah, like we lost the battle, but we also like those outfits were so cool. Those superhero uniforms are so cool. So he's getting ideas for how to, like, I guess his next project, we're gonna go into beta. I wonder if we're gonna skip Charlie and go into Delta or something like that, or if we're gonna see a Charlie, a Delta. I wonder how many of these androids we're gonna go through with Hito. But that's pretty much it. Is now Hito's back to the drawing board. All right, how are we gonna get these plans back, because he's gonna need them. We know in superhero that he's going to use those plans to create Cell Max. So some way, one way or another, he's going to get those plans within this arc someplace. And yeah, it's just a matter of how. So he's back to the drawing board to trying to figure out the next move to be able to get him. And now that he has outed Beta, he probably can't use Beta again. Wonder what they're going to do next week on next week's adventure of whatever, blah, blah, blah. So yeah, honestly, this chapter was a little boring to me. Not my favorite chapter. Last chapter wasn't necessarily my favorite either, but I did like some stuff about it. I like some of the paneling, I like the sports, I like the basketball, I like some of the reference to like how Akira Toriyama's or earlier works, not even Dragon Ball, just like earlier works in general. And again, I could be reaching on some of that, but it was just very Akira Toriyama thing to do. So I definitely enjoyed like some of the small stuff in there. I'm definitely waiting for something bigger to happen. I know that this is just basically a bridge episode or a bridge series or arc or whatever. It's just to hold us over to the next big arc, and I don't think that this is going to last very long. But yeah, take some of the good and some of the bad with this arc as it goes forward. With that, definitely, guys, sorry that it took me so long to get this chapter out, coming out a little bit later than normal. Been just super busy, you know, festival, all the good things. I'll throw promo up for everything that we have going on. If you guys are following the channel, then you know that, yeah, Comic-K, we've been super busy with putting on our own festival, and that's coming up here in the next like few weeks. So we've just been super busy, had to work on a lot of different stuff, and just now being able to get time to like sit down and record. But definitely stay with us. We got some more content coming and some other big things to announce soon. And as always, we're doing our giveaways. Help us get to our next milestone. I think it was 150 subscribers, and we're giving away the My Hero Academia figure, and we're going to be doing more giveaways of comics on our Instagram page and our Facebook page. We're always doing those. We gave away some more stuff recently, and we've given away tickets to Space City Geek Fest, the festival that we're working on. And there's more giveaways with that. So if you guys are interested, if you're in the Houston area, even if you're not in the Houston area, you should check it out, because we're giving away passes to like Comic Palooza. We're giving away signed autograph stuff. We're giving away comics. There's a lot of stuff that we're giving away along with those festivals. With the festival, if you buy a ticket, then there's a bunch of things that you guys can win. So definitely, yeah, check out our Instagram and stay tuned. Appreciate you guys. Deuces.